Hello, it's Steve with CarSmart in Niagara Falls, and we've got a very nice car for you today. Small car, it's considered a compact size. It's a Hyundai Elantra, but it's the GT Sport model. Now the GT is the sort of the 5-door hatchback as opposed to the more conventional 4-door sedan. A little more rare, it's got a little extra power in the engine, but it's still a 2-liter, 4-cylinder, normally aspirated. In other words, no turbocharging, so that always improves reliability, but still very good fuel economy. And they run on just regular gas. So these are actually rated at 9.4 in the city and 7.1 liters per 100 in the highway cycle. So very good fuel economy for this size of vehicle. It's a 6-speed overdrive automatic transmission, front-wheel drive. Now, when we get into this, there's two different models of the GT, base version and the luxury package. And this is the latter, the luxury package, so lots of extras in it, including beautiful big double panel glass panoramic sunroof with a power interior sunshade. Lots of other little extras which we'll get into in a moment, but one of them is the bigger 17-inch aluminum alloy wheels, and it's a nice sort of diamond cut polished finish with a sort of a gray painted sort of metallic interface. You'll see it does have optional anti-theft wheel locks which help obviously prevent theft, and very good tires on it. These are an Nexen all-season steel belted radial, lots of tread life left on them, and they're matched on all 4 corners. So we get into things like projector headlights that are actually active, so they will actually swivel and illuminate based on steering input. We have LED daytime running lights down below. Again, equally nice wheels and same matching tires on the front. The mirrors themselves have integrated LED signal lights, and they're what they call a breakaway design. So if they get bumped in either direction, especially in busy parking lots, they seem to be getting smaller and tighter spaces every year. It doesn't do any damage to the mirrors. They're power adjustable, they're heated as well, and we have blind spot and rear cross traffic assist monitoring with lane change assist. Now over here you'll see a second tire. So we do have a full set of winter tires that are included with this vehicle. 17-inch wheel, the proper same sizing, and these are Continental, also an excellent brand, and again, nobody cheaped out on this one. So winter tires, one thing I should mention too is if you should go through with this or any other purchase, always mention to your insurance agent that you have winter tires for it. They may ask for a picture to confirm it, but you'll automatically get a 5% discount on your annual insurance rate having winter tires. So you can see rear wiper washer, electric defroster, and it has an auto shut-off timer that turns it off. We've got a third LED brake lamp up top, and then on the very rooftop you'll see that sort of shark fin antenna where your satellite radio as well as the AM and FM antennas are embedded, and they have what they call a diversity antenna, so it actually improves FM reception. Coming around the back, nice big lights. You've got a locked fuel door with an inside release. Well, actually, I should say the locking is cycled with the power door lock. So when the doors are unlocked, you just sort of push on it and it pops open. As soon as doors are locked, you'll see this little space here. There's a little plunger that comes out and locks that fuel door. Now, these run on just regular gas, 87 octane, which is the least expensive grade available. So that's always a good fuel saver. The windows are tinted from the factory with what they call a solar tint. So this is a lighter tint. Some people like a darker tint, and that can certainly be accommodated. We have a local tinter that does work for us, and we can have it done for a nominal cost. Obviously that's an upgrade. The keys themselves, if you look on here, you'll see a little wee button on the outside. And these have what they call a proximity key, also part of that luxury package. It's the type of key you can just leave in your pocket or your purse, and when you come up to the car, you just sort of tap that little button. 1 touch opens the driver's door, 2 taps opens all 4 doors, and you have easy entry. And then it also gives you proximity entry to the back where it reads the key in proximity, and you just sort of touch a little button on the underside of that handle and it unlocks. So power windows, power mirrors are all up here. The power door lock switch is actually in the center console, which we'll show in a minute. We have express or sort of 1-touch auto down windows for the driver's side, also auto up. Power mirrors, of course, left-right toggle, and then your 4-way directional control. The central switch is a lockout switch, so that cancels the other 3 power windows in the other 3 positions. So if you have smaller children and the driver wants to eliminate them from playing with the power windows and potentially pinching themselves. Now these do have anti-pinch protection, I should point that out too. With anti-pinch protection, when you're putting it up, if something is in the way, it just pops right back down. So it's a safety setup. So again, no issues doing any harm to it. You have safety reflectors within the doors, so when the doors are open at night. And of course, a storage pocket with the central being sort of a tall sleeve for water bottles, etc. Now, nice premium cloth upholstery, nice bolstering side, but not overly bolstered. So, regardless of your shape, you'll fit quite nicely in these. It's a nice fabric upholstery. They're heated seats, which you'll see in a moment. And you also have height adjustment on them. So you can ratchet it up or the opposite direction, pushing it down to raise or lower. And of course, this is your recline lever. Moving it forward and aft is from the front switch. Here we have the inside hood release. There's access to a fuse panel in here. Of course, it being an automatic transmission, we have, of course, accelerator, brake, and then this is what they call the dead pedal. It's really a footrest for your left foot. It gives you a nice bracing. Underneath the plastic here, we have all the carpeted floor mats, the original mats for the car. We steam clean everything. That's why we cover them in plastic to keep them like new. Here we have the dimmer switch for all your interior lighting. This is the on-off switch for your blind spot and lane change assist. And then over on the far right is the vehicle dynamic control, or it's basically both electronic stability like anti-skid control as well as all-speed traction control. Next over here we have a little lever that releases, and then this allows for tilting and telescoping of the steering wheel. So moving in and out as well as up and down, so regardless of your seating position, you'll get good visibility in a comfortable, safe position. If we go all the way down here, we'll see also an airbag for the driver's knee, and a knee airbag is very important because your airbag is closer than on the passenger side. There's a tendency in in a lot of the crash testing for driver to sort of slide down below the airbag, and that can cause lower body injuries. So the knee airbag really keeps you in position so that doesn't happen, and it really greatly enhances safety in a serious front-end collision. We have headlight controls over here. Now I have them manually switched on, but most people will just leave those in the automatic mode where, of course, that cycles on and off based on the outside lighting. And then over on the far right, your other stock controls, both your variable delay front wiper washers and rear wiper washer as well. Rear wiper, you're just turning that outer sleeve to control it. We've got a nice leather wrapped steering wheel, leather wrapped shifter control, and down below here you'll see a heated steering wheel control, and then on either side here are the heated seat controls. Of course, it's summer here in Niagara Falls, hot and humid. We won't need that today, but come winter, that's certainly a nice luxury feature you'll like. And the leather wrap wheel just gives it a real nice feel. It's nicely sort of thick rimmed. It's got a sort of the contours at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, so it really holds your steering wheel in that right position. And then we've got all the various multifunction controls on here. So starting at the top left is your voice control. So when you, especially with hands-free phone and a lot of the voice integration for the multimedia, you can control things by phone. A common one will be once you've uploaded and paired your cell phone to the car, you can access your contact list by voice and say, call CarSmart, and if CarSmart's in your directory or your saved numbers, then you can do it all by advanced voice recognition. Same thing goes with texting. We have advanced Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and you can do all texting by voice just like you're doing hands-free phone calls, both answering and sending messages through voice command. The mode button sort of cycles through the various combinations of media selection, and then you've got volume controls, a mute button, station changing, answering and hanging up on a telephone. On the other side here we've got our cruise control, as well as a multifunction control that controls that sort of central. It's a 3.5 inch what they call TFT display in the center cluster. So you've got things like a trip odometer. You can see you can select different displays here for things like speed, fuel economy, other info, trip odometers, etc. You'll see this has just 74,000 639 kilometers. Beside that, 22C is of course your outside temperature. Top left there is P, is just indicating the park position of the manual transmission, or of the automatic transmission, excuse me. Of course your horn is in here along with airbags. So getting back to airbags, the frontal airbags on all the newer Hyundais are what they call a advanced dual stage adaptive airbag system, where it will change or adapt to the actual accident that you're encountering at any given time. So with a dual stage airbag, a lower speed collision, it'll go off at a lower threshold or a lower range, and at a real serious high speed frontal impact, it'll go off higher. So it uses different inertia sensors throughout the vehicle to tell the system what is the most appropriate level. It's all designed again to give you just the right amount of airbag support without giving you too much, because these can pop quite a lot of strength, and they do that to obviously absorb impact and save you from serious, if not fatal, injuries. So these are a real good advancement, and it has it on both the passenger side and the driver's side. Now, passenger side has one more advancement in that it has what they call a classification system. Today I've got all the books and extra keys lined up here, but the classification system will turn off that frontal airbag when there's little weight, like under about 90 pounds is about the threshold where it turns it on, because it's assuming it's either empty or that you have a child sitting there. And you may recall with early airbags, they always recommended children sit in the back seat because airbags are not designed for kids. Well, and that's still the case. So if there's you've got a youngster that's 50, 60 pounds sitting in the front, they're out of a booster seat, they can sit here, but and it'll automatically keep that airbag off. And that's indicated right here. You'll see that illuminated where it's saying off. If you had a 100-pound adult sitting there or greater, that would turn off, and that airbag is now active. So beside that is where the power door lock switch is, right there. Now you'll notice the vent controls, they all have individual flow controls, both the corner vents as well as central vents. The center here we have our four-way or hazard light flashers. And down below, again also part of the luxury package on the Elantra GT, is a dual zone automatic climate control. So this allows you to dial in individual temperature zones for driver and passenger, so that everybody's got their own, I guess, settings. So if one individual finds it too warm or too cold, they can adjust their zone separately. Rear passengers have the benefit of under seat as well as rear console vents that sort of blow through to the back to keep it nice and cool or warm depending on the season for them. It has an auto mode where it will use sensors. You can see one of them up there on the dash. And what it does is it reads temperatures throughout the cabin, and it will automatically adjust the airflow pattern. You can hear the fan picking up speed there now. It's doing that automatically. I'm going to turn that down so it doesn't mess up with our audio. You can synchronize your temperature, so you have the same as what the driver's side is if you prefer that. This is just your recirculation versus fresh air control, air conditioning on and off, rear defrost, front defrost. So pretty straightforward. And then of course you can control your fan speeds independently with these little up and down buttons. Now moving up to the infotainment system, you got a nice big 8-inch screen with this package. So again, it's both AM, FM, Sirius XM satellite radio. On that note, if Sirius XM is something you've had before and want to continue with, or if you even want to try it, we've got an arrangement with Sirius XM for a 90-day free trial offer. So ask about it and we can give you details on it, and you can sort of give it that 3-month test drive and decide if you want to keep it from there. So we can go back to the main menu, which I will in a minute, but I've got the Apple CarPlay set up right now. So to do that, my phone is plugged in here, you see, with a little shorted cable into the USB port. Down here we also have 12 volts, so the power sockets, as well as an auxiliary audio input. These are somewhat more older school now for older MP3 players. iPods, if you had an iPod with music on it you still like to use, it's all compliant with that. Most of the newer ones now will just work with USB only. So this is both a charging point as well as a media input port. And again, this is for both Apple CarPlay and or Android Auto. So right now you can see the map setting coming up. The nice thing with smartphone-based apps like Apple CarPlay is it allows you to really select the app, or the app, or for example, a navigation app that you prefer. Right now I'm using Google Maps, but often if I'm up in Toronto, I find Waze to be a really good system. So you can access different navigation systems. And the nice thing with these smartphone-based apps is they're always up to date. Every time your phone goes through an update, automatically, maps are updated, new streets that have changed, or if they've changed it from a two-way to a one-way street, it's all going to be updated on your maps in real time. Whereas factory navigation systems, every time you want to update, you got to go visit the dealer, and it's typically a $200 or $300 charge for them to plug in and update your system. So this is the way of the future, and the way people like it now. You can also access your texting here. And again, you can do texting by voice. So if incoming text comes in, a little red dot will indicate so. You can open up your texting, and it will digitize and sort of read back, in a AI voice, the voice message, and then you can respond with your voice messaging button right on the steering wheel. So keeps everything legal and hands-free. And then there's things like music. Being able to access your favorite playlists. I use Apple Music, I use Amazon Music, so I've got a couple of different choices there. But whether you use Spotify or any of the major ones, right off your cell phone, you can access it right from here. Now you also have Bluetooth streaming. If you're not comfortable using smartphone apps, you can just set up your phone and digitally stream wirelessly through things like this as well. So, but although you can't get into things like navigation, so I find the easiest application is just using the CarPlay or Android Auto setups. You don't lose any functionality. When you put it in reverse, you still have full camera system. You can see you have predictive steering there. When I turn the steering wheel, you see how that yellow line moves and tells you where you're going to head. We'll go back here. This is sort of the main CarPlay application, or sort of main menu screen. Okay, so these are some of the apps available right off my smartphone. If I wanted to go back to the factory system, here's your factory radio. Okay, so it's got AM, FM, and Sirius XM satellite radio. It's got RDS, gives you the radio station, the current program playing, etc. And of course you've got all your various memory and everything, and you can store your stuff there. The little home button in the top left corner gives you the main menu as well for setup and all the other options you can go with. So moving along, 6-speed automatic transmission. Drop that into the drive mode of the transmission, and you're good to go. Now you'll see to the left of the D that little plus minus. This is what they call a Sportmatic in the Hyundai world. Flipping it over into the sport mode, what you're doing now is, even though it's an automatic transmission, it gives you full manual controls. You see up top there, number 1 displayed. If I set a upshift, I can go into second gear, and then back down to first gear again. So it gives you sequential shifting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. It gives you the ability to do all that without a clutch. And so that can have some benefits, and especially in wintertime, if you're going down a steep grade that's icy. Although cars all have very advanced anti-lock braking systems now, you can do things like engine braking and whatnot, downshifting, and maybe when passing to hold it in a passing gear longer. So it just gives you more control. But no need to use it if you don't wish to. It just gives you more control. 3-stage heated seats, as mentioned earlier, heated steering wheel. Then you also have a transmission drive mode. And this allows you to select from 3 different modes: an eco mode, a sport mode, and a normal mode. So we're on the normal mode now, but you'll see right above the odometer there, the eco mode coming up, and then the sport mode. So pretty straightforward. Eco obviously is optimizing your transmission shifting and throttle input to really get the best fuel economy. Sport mode, kind of the opposite. It's going to make it more aggressive. It's going to shift earlier and rev higher between shifts. Normal mode, somewhat in the middle. So that's the kind of thing you can experiment with and choose what you feel is best for your driving. Handbrake, nice traditional handbrake, as opposed to a lot of cars now are going to electronic e-brakes, which can be a bit of a pain, and certainly more expensive to service than a conventional one of these. You got handbrake, or cup holders I should say there. Nice big storage underneath this sort of fold-up center armrest. And then you've got all the books and manuals. This is very, very complete, as you can see. Carfax history. Let's take a quick peek here. but again, it's an Ontario car since new. Lots and lots of service records, no accidents, very important. We've got both its smart proximity keys here. So it's the wheel lock key is in the back with the spare tire right now. The of course, glove box, nice and spacious. We've got a day-night rear view mirror, sunglasses holder in the overhead console, independent sort of reading lamps, overhead lights that illuminate here as well as in those sort of side reading lights. And then if you leave that in the middle switch, that's of course gives you that sort of illuminated entry that sort of fades in and fades out based on door opening and closing. Now we have visor shade extenders on both driver and passenger sides. Handy little clip there for notes, business cards, whatever you like to keep there. Sliding covers, and then there's a little light up top. And rather cleverly, when you snap the visor up, it actually is designed to hit the switch and turn it off automatically. Clever engineering. Then you've got overhead door assist handles, the rear of which on both sides have little hooks on them so that you can hang, your dry cleaning or hang a coat up on that. Now, I've got the shade drawn here because the last sort of central button here is that big power panoramic sunroof. So it's a deep tinted glass that keeps it nice and cool inside. But some people are very light sensitive, and the ability to shut that down works maybe better for them, and they only open it at night. It's really a preference. You've got a pop-up deflector on the top that helps sort of reduce sort of a pressure wave or a buffeting effect you can get with an open roof. But it's all one-touch activity, and then I can stop the sunshade separately if I wish. As you can see here, I can stop it just like that, so I can just sort of leave it totally open with the shade and all glass roof, and that certainly lets a lot of light in, so it makes a nice airy cabin. We have height adjustable seat belts here that move up and down, so adjust your height. They also have pre-tensioning. Pre-tensioners are really linked to the airbag system, so if a serious accident occurs, the tensioners will tighten up and they take all the slack out of the seat belts. And a nice tight seat belt is really a major factor in maintaining good, safe environment in an accident. It allows the airbags to do their job more effectively. We also have curtain airbags that drop down on the front, another one in the rear, additional ones in the side bolsters. So again, you're really cocooned and surrounded by airbags, and then other things is anti-whiplash seats and head restraints, what they call active seating. It helps reduce whiplash. Now, we'll sort of finish up in the back and under hood. Here we have, again, nice big pockets. It's a 6-speaker stereo. You've got nice door pockets, child-proof door locks here. Under seat we have those vents, seat back pockets. Even the way the seats are sculpted to give you maximum leg room. We can just fold down a center armrest with cup holders. Of course, we've got the cup holders in the doors. Latch or ISOFIX anchor points for child seat installation. Separate height adjustable. Okay, we are back. My apologies there. I didn't check my memory card and we ran out of space. Anyways, long story short, we have that 40-60 split seat, so they fold independently from each side. That's the release lever right on the top there to do so. Moving around to the hatch or trunk area, we have a sort of suspended cargo cover, so this keeps prying eyes from seeing your cargo inside. It's easily removable. It just sort of snaps into a little slot there, so just a little tap and that pops out, removes. You can flip down both seats, and then obviously that opens up high and wide and deep storage space, significantly more than doubling what we have in the normal cargo hold. There's a little bit of extra space on either sides, and before I fold this, you'll see there's these handy little sort of tie-down hooks to attach, bungee cords or anything to secure any unstable or things that are going to roll around in the back. On the back of the seats, you'll see the anchor points for the top tether straps. So again, that's for child seats. So when you look underneath, you'll see a space saver spare tire. This is the wheel lock key, and as well as the original takeoff nuts. So if you did want to remove those lock nuts, you can do so and put the original ones back on. All your tools are there. That tire is brand new. It still has the little nibs on it, never been used. So, and you know, it's nice how this got lots of depth to it, lots of little extra storage space around. So things that you're not using on a day-to-day basis, you know, maybe that extra washer fluid thing or jumper cables or emergency kits can store nicely under there. Opening the hood there's a release lever just right at the center point there, and we have a 2-liter 4-cylinder non-turbo engine. Okay, there is what they call an N version of this, which is the real sort of high-performance version with a 1.6 turbo engine. Personally, while turbos certainly do make more power, they can also create a lot more headaches and maintenance costs down the road because they don't last forever. And this is a normally aspirated 16-valve double overhead cam engine, 161 horsepower, 150 pound-feet of torque. It's more than enough, you know, power for this size of vehicle. These just take regular gas, so no need for premium fuel either. So, a couple of things. You've got brake fluid reservoir easily up front, nice big heavy-duty battery. Under that cover is a bunch of relays and fuses. Drops in here is our you know, sort of panel air filter. And we've got radiator cap, coolant fill-up or reservoir, easy access to air conditioning, high-low pressure lines, washer fluid, and then of course oil cap and oil dipstick. There's a little arm there that holds up the hood. And again, very, very clean, no rust under there. This has been very well looked after. I'm Steve with CarSmart. We're in Niagara Falls, Ontario on Thorold Stone Road. Phone number is 905-354-0049 should you have any questions. Cars like this will sell very quickly, especially with that extra value of extra wheels and tires. It's good on fuel, and with today's gasoline prices, we've got a lot of people downsizing from bigger vehicles looking for economical vehicles like this with low mileage and good history. So if you're interested, I would suggest moving quickly. Thank you.